All right, what's up, guys? We are here in the Speakeasy studio. Okay, I'm at my boy Chris's house.
Let's
Chris,
go.
How you doing?
Good, man. Good.
Man, I've had so much fun today. We just did a podcast, just shot a couple videos. Me and Chris both have just, been getting into this whole, YouTube content creation game. So, it's only been what, a year since you started?
Yeah, doing the podcast, man.
Yeah.
And I just want to say thank you for coming on, Oz, because even with the content, even though you just kind of started, that inspires me to keep going too, because now that it's kind of like opening up people to it, and they're going like towards more of where we're going in the future, like the digital space.
Yeah.
It's just called the digital resume and digital equity, pretty much,
right? 100%. So just, I want to pick his brain about, just content thing, just some things about life. And then, you're not going to, be too much of a long interview, just a quick sit down with my boy, just to kind of, get some knowledge from him. So just let me know how has this last year been for the content?
It's been good, man. So with the content, like anyone else, that's why I like to post these pictures on Instagram. With me and Aram that first started.
Yeah.
I like posting that because it shows progress, right? And people like to see that. It's almost like an underdog story kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%.
Because the thing is that I think when people start content creating, people are getting they're afraid to get judged. And you know what? Almost rightfully so, because I heard from the grapevines, not going to say any names, that when I first started doing the podcast too, they were like, why is he doing that? That's ridiculous, right? Yeah. Like we talked about in the podcast. And it kind of discourages you a little bit. You're like, why am I doing it? It's second question, but I think if you just stick to it long enough, you start getting some legs on it, then, you just kind of iterate from there.
100%.
Yeah.
So, so obviously people have their own opinions, but, man, I think you're a perfect example of investing in yourself. Yeah. Like, that's the equipment, since we last talked.
Beautifully said.
You're an investor in yourself. Yeah. And I think that's the best thing you should do in life. Talk a little bit about investing in yourself, and is that a scary thing?
It's very, very scary. And, not that, I consider myself now to be like an entrepreneur, even though people define it different. But about the investing in yourself, beautifully put, because I think a lot of people, like I have a friend, which I won't disclose obviously, but then she has this business. And what I was telling her, like I was telling you, is like to outsource your editing right away, because it's not our expertise. Yeah. Our main job is to talk into this camera while that's your creative side. Yeah. If you like editing, for sure. If you want to make money off of it, but if that's not your purpose in life to do, don't do it. Hand it over to someone else, and you need to create that team over time anyway. Yeah. But like I said, I like what you said about reinvesting in yourself, because reinvesting also means like reading books and paying for those books to reinvent and reinvest in yourself. So technically that's just what I've done. I just watch podcasts all day, honestly. And I just learn from that. And then as time goes on, you just kind of learn to iterate. And then, dude, subconsciously or unconsciously or consciously, you're going to get feedback. Yeah. That's essentially what you're doing. When we're speaking on the podcast, that just made me better. Yeah. It's kind of like fighting, right? Every session that you do, even though you're not like, wait, is the way I'm speaking, even though you're not conscious of everything, you'll pick things up. Yeah. So that's the way I see things. And it's just an investment in yourself, whether that's, like making yourself feel good about something, like we talked about it in the podcast. Yeah. You want to embody who you want to be in the future. Yeah. And that's how I carry it. So that just means investing in yourself. Pretty much.
Right, 100%. So just talk to me a little bit. So obviously this seems like it's like a passion thing for you. Yeah. What has like the motivation / discipline, like what's the percentage on that? Like it's been a year. Yeah. You've been doing this longer than I have. Maybe I've been doing this like October of last year.
And that's not very far. Yeah. And you said it yourself, man. Like the progress within a year, if you really just put your mind to it, and like John Wood said, shout out, what really stuck out to me in that podcast is that how bad you want it. Yeah. Like plain and simple. Yeah. You're gonna find a way if you want it bad enough. Yeah. Like I want to do this shit, and when I think about my prior job, I'm like, ooh, I don't want to go back to that, and I'll kick and claw to not have to go there.
Yeah, 100%. So like, has it been hard to like do the content? Like, have you struggled with the motivation, or has it all just so far just been like enjoyment and like?
No, of course. Sometimes I don't want to do videos.
Yeah.
Just being full transparent, because look, you have to bring the camera down. So what I like to do, and it's a great tactic, is I like to make it frictionless. What I mean by that is mitigate the steps in order for you to do that. So like you notice there, we just did kickboxing videos, right? But what you notice is that I already have a stand here.
100%.
And all I have to do is bring the camera to put down the stand. If I had to put the whole stand, so pretty much I just try to make everything convenient, and that's a reinvestment within itself. Like a lot of people I think would probably be like, well, I already have a tripod, which I'll bring with me, but the point for me is to get motivated enough
100%.
and make the environment more convenient for me, right?
That is something that I like noticed subconsciously but didn't think about until you just said it. That everybody who's watching this needs to listen to that. That is 100% one of the smartest things you can do. I could already kind of feel like the kind of like wearing down of just set this camera up, oh, the memory here, the memory here. I walked into Chris's house, everything was set up, everything was clean, everything was ready. I went to his living room, the new spot where he's gonna be doing like stuff on the couch. Not a casting couch.
Hey man, you know, if it has to be that, it has to be that.
And I'm like, stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
No, but anyway, so like he had multiple tripods set up in there. Different angles, everything.
Gotta get those shots.
But like we walk through there, we walk through here, everything's clean, everything's set up. It's all video ready.
Yes.
I could take a video and everything's ready to be on camera. He's not gonna be like, oh, I have to pick this up, I have to pick that up.
Right.
You know what I mean? So obviously everything can't be perfect. You know, if you have stuff lying around your house, you're not a bad person for that.
Yeah, and it's preparation too. When you came in, right, you noticed that I didn't have to put the batteries in, like, you know, everything, like the videos were on, and I just had to adjust, obviously, to the pictures and stuff like that. But that's the whole point, is that it's just minor preparation. And I know people are like, some people are just kind of lazy to do that. They're just kind of like, well, why do I have to like prep for it? It's like, well, that's literally, it's like training, right? It's kind of like you're gonna fight the way you train. So why not prepare for the same way that you prepare for a podcast? So I'm not like, you know what I mean?
100%.
Stumbling all over my words. I kind of see it like kind of having a sales script, right? You don't need a sales script, but then if you need something to fall back on, then you could fall back on that sales script. It's kind of like, okay, you could go back to that default. That's how I see it. It's the break the glass just in case shit goes south, right? So one of the examples is that, say if I get someone in the podcast and they're not that talkative, but it's my job to lead the conversation anyway, but then I always have things to fall back on in case that happens. So it's not some awkward like, just some senseless, no direction going into a conversation, just straight headed for the ground kind of thing.
100%.
Preparation's everything. It is
100%. And like you've only been doing it like I would say for a year or so, but like I could tell you had like from the first moment I came into your house and for your podcast, I could tell you already had that discipline, and I could tell like that was kind of already something ingrained in you. So like what did you get that from in life? Like was that like a prior like profession, or you just were like
martial arts?
Oh, awesome.
Guaranteed, dude. Because this may sound cliche now, because I've had so many people on the podcast saying this, how martial arts translates into their life, and rightfully so, right? But then it really is. If you can learn, with martial arts, if you can apply those things, that's the blueprint to how to be successful in life. If you just apply it. Now, I know that it's hard to do something new because you're doing it in a different domain, right? Even though you're good at martial arts, say if you start content creation, that's a whole different thing. You're kind of scared of it. You're scared to get judged and stuff like that. Well, how do you think that was for martial arts? You were scared to go in the gym. You were getting judged by people with cauliflower ears.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But again, if you can follow those steps, if you could trace back to the steps where you started martial arts first and be consistent and persistent, and when the days you don't want to train, same thing, you don't want to do videos.
100%.
If you can do that and just go through it, and then on the days that you feel good, whatever, it ebbs and flows. But again, it all stems back to what, like John was saying, have a never say die attitude, and it just depends how bad you want it. It depends how bad you want it, man. If you want it that bad, you'll find a fucking way. 100%. Like even with what we talked about in the podcast, even with a health crisis, even if it's something that you're going through, if that's your purpose in life, and the divine is calling you for that, you'll fucking find a way to get it. You'll be like,
100%.
I'm put on this earth for something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like that tenacity, pushing
Yeah.
through all the bad moments. So I did want to ask you about, I don't know how when were you diagnosed with cancer?
Yeah, so it was back in October. So long story short on that is I turned yellow. So I had jaundice, which is you turn yellow. Usually that's like from drinking a lot, because your liver and kidneys start shutting down and stuff like that. So we can't process it. So what happened was I started turning yellow, and then my coworkers, they pointed it out. I thought it was just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Because you look at yourself every day, right, in the mirror to get ready for work and stuff like that, you don't really notice it. So anyway, when I came in, and you have these white lights, and then all of a sudden they were like, dude, you're yellow, dude. Like, you're really yellow.
Like,
Are
so
you
like
okay?
your skin was yellow?
Your skin was yellow.
Wow.
And then the sides of your eyeballs and stuff like that turned also yellow. That's jaundice, yeah. So it's a pretty common problem with like drinkers and stuff.
Okay.
But little did I know, it's a pretty common symptom when it comes to particularly pancreatic cancer, which is what that is. And the thing is with that is that, you just, like, when you first go in, so I went to the ER, right? And then when I got the MRIs and stuff like that, they saw I was yellow. So they were like, we got to do some testing on you. So when I went to the MRI and got like CT scan with, CT scan, MRI, CAT scan, and all that stuff, they told me that I had like a mass, right? They don't tell you that you have it like cancer yet because they want to know for sure.
Yeah.
But I already knew.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't surprised. I was like, mass, and all that stuff. I think the feeling is like when you go, and then they were like, dude, we're going to get, oh man, it was so crazy because now that you're getting catered to by all these doctors, you know it's serious. Like, I'm not just talking about one doctor. I'm talking about specialty doctors, like GI doctors, oncologist doctors. It's like, oh, this is serious. Like, you like process that.
That must have been. Would you say that's the scariest moment of your
Well,
life?
at that time, you don't really process it.
Okay.
Because you're like
a little bit, or like
it's like everything's going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's moving very fast.
Dude, yeah, it was like slow and fast at the same time, just because you're thinking about. And to be quite honest with you, yes, you're thinking about like, wow, this is actually happening, right?
Yeah.
You're like numb and you're in shock. But what you kind of learn from that is that I have other obligations. I have other purposes. Like personally, I take care of my father. It's just me and my dad.
Yeah.
And I always said, and I said this from the very beginning, is that when I got diagnosed, is that I'm not gonna let my dad bury me. I'm gonna bury him first, right? I can't see him like that. There's a purpose within itself. So, and just to give you guys an update, so it doesn't get too grim. I had my PET scan, CT scan. The doctor was like, dude, I see some people with this diagnosis. For people that don't know, this is probably one of the worst things that you could get as far as cancer-wise, because usually when you get like cancer in early stages, there's a path to fix it. Like you get chemo, right? And then all of a sudden the cancer's gone. Maybe you get surgery, right? And then it's like, oh, you're cancer-free, cool. This one's, there's no telling. It's like, it could go downhill fast, or it can, I don't know, maybe NED, which is no evidence of disease is what they call it, remission, right? But anyway, so that's what I was thinking mostly. Like, obviously, for your own sake too. You're like, oh my God, like, this is actually happening. It might go in the worst ways. Yeah, of course. And that's what it was. That's what so to take it back a little bit, that's what my oncologist was telling me. He was like, when I first went into the room, he was like, oh God. Like, this guy's yellow, fucking, he looks like in the worst. I lost 15, 20 pounds, just like that. And that's a common symptom of cancers, right? But anyway, as time went on, that was my only thought. I was like, oh, dude, I have obligations to take care of other than myself, right? And I've always been that way. I think martial arts saved my life. That's why I keep referring back to it. And a lot of people will say that, like, yeah, of course, yeah, it saved a lot of lives, right? You internalize that in the gym, you like make friends and all that stuff, you learn skills. But then I just followed the blueprint, man. I was like, well, Jordan Peterson said it. You can go two ways. You can get depressed about it. And a lot of my friends said that, and rightfully so, I get it. You can go two ways about it. You can get depressed, let your mind deteriorate, let yourself go rot in bed, and then just go, or you can do something about it, right? And what we were talking about in the podcast, that was a great point, is that when you learn to accept it, that it's not up to you, well, what else are you going to do? Right? 100%. Than doing what you've been doing. But the caveat to that is that it's not just that. I think it's luck and fortunate too, because even before I got diagnosed, I've been built with these habits. Think about this, Nas. If you were diagnosed with that and then you were like a couch potato and sat Netflix and ate junk food the whole day, you know how hard that'd be to get up, especially when you got diagnosed and stuff like that. Even just kicking a sugar addiction's hard. Right? Even just to stop something without even actually doing anything. All you need to do is stop eating these sugars. Think about how hard it is to get up to go to the gym, and then knowing that you have like a diagnosis like that, and all of a sudden you're fighting for your life. Luckily, I've had like the martial arts thing. I'd go every day and lift and stuff like that every day. So it's not so much that I'm saying, oh yeah, I'm the most resilient guy. I'm lucky enough to have those habits in place to carry me over.
Right. So, for you guys don't know, Chris would be showing up to the gym every single day, even after the diagnosis. So when it came to that, like health-wise, was that a decision that you had to keep yourself healthy by moving? Was it health-wise? Was it more mind-wise? Like, because obviously, when it comes to this thing, we've talked about it on the podcast. Your mind can be the biggest tool. Your manifestation, your belief in what the future holds.
Exactly.
Obviously, you don't want to put yourself in the scenario where it's like, you know what? Maybe the worst case scenario isn't that you die of cancer.
Sure.
Maybe that's not the worst case scenario.
It's not.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'll tell you why. And sorry to cut you off on this before I lose my thought. Listen. Yes, it is one of the worst diagnoses you could get. But check this out. I was talking to someone with like stage 4 or whatever. It went to their bones and their lymph nodes and stuff like that. Imagine having to wake up every day with pain. I'm not that. Like I thank God every day for that. Like I woke up alive and I'm not in pain. It's a fucking miracle. You know what I mean? So I guess you could put it to where it's like, oh, it could always be worse, right? But dude, if I was in pain, like I have more respect for people. Fuck my diagnosis. I have more respect for people that wake up like that. Even with a back, like major back surgery. Like you see Frank Mir, right? Have you seen his Instagram? Dude, holy shit. If I had to go through that, I honestly don't know what I'd do. Like I can't say, I'll be resilient and just do it. Look at what the fuck. It's Frank Mir. He's a dog. Like he's a beast. And he's having to go through all that pain and stuff like that. Whew. I mean, like I said, I wake up every day. Yes, I have this diagnosis, but you know how I go about it? That I don't have the diagnosis.
Right.
Because how I feel every day. And I'm not just saying that to be like, for you guys, I'm not saying that to be like optimistic. Like, I want to make Nas feel good and just say I'm great, I'm doing great. No, I really feel that way.
And I could tell that by, I could tell that like by, you just coming into the gym every day, I'm sure it wasn't easy for you to wake up and go to the gym. But I could tell by your mindset. Let me ask you, so what was something that you just, like you didn't think about it before, but when you got that diagnosis, it was like, fuck, I did not appreciate this. Like what was there, like, cause I feel like for a lot of people, when they kind of like get a scare like that, certain things can come up like that. Like, was it your father? Was it a friend who you were mean to a long time ago? What was something that was like, fuck, I did not appreciate this?
It's perspective. So when you get diagnosed with something like this, you go through what's called the existential crisis, right? And unfortunately, a lot of people, they don't realize a lot of like certain nuances in life that, okay, so basically what I'm saying is that people take stuff for granted. Just like I did. I'm the biggest fault of that. So when I got the diagnosis, it's not that I wasn't living life to what I wanted to do, like we're doing now, right? And I mean, kudos to you, man, that you're learning this at an early age and you're doing all this stuff that you wanted. It's fucking fun, right? And kudos to you, because a lot of people have to reach rock bottom before they get to do what they want to do. And people can say all they want. They can be stoic and they can seem virtuous all they want. They're like, never regret life, and I wake up. Do you really mean it though? If you haven't gone through that, I'm not saying you should go through that. I don't wish that upon anyone. It's just, when you go through it, man, you're going through it, bro. And then there's like different levels to it. So referring back to your question, I don't know. I think what I got out of it and what my regrets, like now I'm doing things that I don't regret. To put it more in a positive light, I have more perspective, meaning that every day is just a win. I think of every day as a win for me now. It sounds kind of cringy to some people, but it's not. Yeah. It's like tomorrow's gonna be a win. So the practice of gratitude itself. I know we haven't talked about that too much, even on the podcast, but it's such a big deal.
Yeah.
Like my dad over here, for example, he's never been like an emotional person, but he showed it through action, right? He raised me up, he brought me up. That's why I love him so much. But he never told me like he loved me or anything. He didn't have to because he showed it. But the thing is that if I feel something, like with my friends nowadays, I never used to be like that too. Yeah. But I'll tell them, hey man, I want to spend time with you guys. I love you guys.
Exactly.
Right? And them hearing that, I noticed that there's been a change within them, me saying that. Yeah. Because a lot of people are scared to be vulnerable. Yeah. They don't want to say I love you because they think it's like a cheesy kind of unvulnerable way.
I think as men too, that's like a thing. Like, you know, I'm happy to see. I feel like nowadays as a man, you know, it's obviously I was born in 2002, so I wasn't back, you know, in the 80s and 90s and stuff. But I feel like nowadays, people are more becoming like comfortable in men just being a little bit softer and just being a little bit more loving and just showing a little bit more like being masculine but also feminine at the same time, having a balance of your feminine energy and being able to say things like, I love you, dog, I miss you, dog, you know what I mean? And I feel like when you tell that to your friends, especially after something like that, it just makes you appreciate the fact that this, whatever happens after we die, this is not forever. This moment is not forever. Me and you are gonna, like, after this, we're gonna go do something else. Sure. And you know what I mean? We'll always have the video of this. Yep. But like, we won't be experiencing this for the first time. Exactly. Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. There's just a lot of, caveats to life, man. I think, especially when you get this diagnosis now. So this is a weird kind of way, and I don't want to downplay like cancer or anything, but then homeostasis kicks in, which means that, say if you lose an arm, right? And then you're like on your fight career, right? You're trajecting upwards and stuff like that. I don't know how long it's gonna take. And I don't wish this upon anyone, but then you go back to baseline, which means your happiness level, you're gonna find a way to adapt to not having that arm because you have no choice, number one. And it's kind of like, I don't know if this relates too much, but it's kind of like having $1 million. When you didn't have it, you wanted it so bad. When you get there, it's homeostasis. That's your baseline now. Yeah, you're like, man, half of this is going to taxes. Yeah, it's normal for you to make $1 million. Yeah. So, again, I don't want to put it like it's apples and oranges maybe to some people, but I kind of see it that way. If you lose an arm or a leg or something like that, or a diagnosis, you kind of reach that baseline to where it's like, now it's just normal to live with it. It just depends what you're going to do about it. Again, you could probably just go, if you lose an arm, you could just like sit at home, and kind of dwell on that. Or you have a choice. 100%. We all have a choice. And what you talked about, mindset's right there. Mindset is everything. Mindset is everything. Yeah. I love that. And I remember I had a couple kids I grew up with in my school, and they had some physical impairments, and two of them went to the Olympics. You know what I mean? Like they were like two of my friends, they had things like going on with their legs. One friend was in a wheelchair. The other friend, he had a problem with his leg where one leg was like didn't grow as much as the other leg, so he had to like be on crutches and stuff. Yeah. And I remember just as a kid seeing like how their mindset was not going to just accept the circumstance and just not achieve what they want to achieve. Yes. And unfortunately, there are certain diseases where you cannot do what you want to do. Like there's certain diseases where your body is, you're paralyzed. Yep. Like you don't have hands. Like there's diseases where you cannot do anything, but like adaptation is key, and you don't just not faltering to that. Last question I do want to ask you. I'd love to pick your brain more. We're definitely going to do part 2 to this. Oh, this is a great interview. You're on your way, my friend. I'll tell you that much. You're on your way. This is so much fun. Yep. You've been doing this for a year. Mm-hmm. I would say that there's been a complete level up. Yeah. You know what I mean? I could tell from the start you never were slacking. Yeah. You always had the same mindset. For somebody who wants to do what you're doing, obviously, I'm sure a big motivation for you is to be financially free.
Yeah.
Right? To be making money off of this.
Somewhat.
Okay.
Because full disclosure, I've always had the resources. Again, it's not like I was super wealthy. I'm not super rich. I would put myself in like the mid class, to be honest with you. Maybe a little bit above that, just to be transparent. But then, with that level, I did whatever I wanted to anyway. Right? I got to eat at nice places with the income that I had, and I was able to pay mortgage at the same time.
Yeah.
So when people talk about financial freedom, at times I think it's almost a buzzword because money is tangible, meaning you could see it, right? Yeah. That's why people define their success on numbers,
right?
Because they're like, oh, if I make a lot of money, I must be doing well. Well, little do you know that someone's on the verge of divorce, they're an alcoholic, and then they're fucking up their life every day. Their kids don't want to talk to them.
So maybe you doing this wasn't about you being financially free, but just free in life and free in like what you want to do. So you would say that this whole everything you do in the podcast, the content, it's all passion.
Yeah. There's another caveat to that too. So 2 things, okay? Keep that in mind, the passion thing, because that's a big one. The thing is that number 1, it all stems down to this. I didn't want to regret anything in life. And that's before I got the diagnosis. I had that internalization. I don't want to regret anything. Yeah. Because if you look at videos like Sprouts, this content guy that I watch, he interviews like 90-year-old people, and you read this a lot in books too, is that when they're in their deathbed, I wish I would have done this. And nothing has to do with money. Right. I wish I could spend time with here. I could with more of my kids. I wish I wasn't such whatever. It's to them they're not internalizing, not having those experiences. That's the key word. When it comes down to everything, whether it's the diagnosis, and I had this internalization before that. Yeah, I started the podcast way before I had this. Right. Yeah. It just all comes down to that. I didn't want to regret my mom. Just for quick context, she passed away with Alzheimer's like a year and a half ago, right?
Oh, rest in peace.
What I did, and this isn't like a pat on the back to me, it's my obligation as a son. I was enjoying my time in San Diego. I moved back here, and that's for a reason. Yeah. I didn't want to regret the time that I spent with my mom, and she was already far gone with Alzheimer's. She probably didn't even know I was there. But then I knew in my heart of hearts that if I wasn't there, I was gonna regret it for the rest of my life, even though that she didn't know that I was there. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like in her head, I knew. You know what I mean? And that's something that I always said that if I were to go right now, right? Let's just say I get hit by a bus, whatever, and me taking care of my dad, at least I could say I did the best that I could, and I did what I wanted to do. And that doesn't determine, because I have numbers in my bank account and I got brand deals and stuff like that. No, I did what I wanted to do. I'm talking to you. I'm learning from you. I'm talking to people that I wanted to talk to. I'm doing the things that, think about this. This is crazy, right? Yeah. This right here was your imagination put into action.
Yeah, 100%.
If you put it that way, that's fucking nuts. Yeah. I told this on another podcast. It's like, this is crazy how we're talking right here. There's cameras right here. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. Yeah. There's a studio right here. Like, what are we doing? Yeah. And then we're gonna post it on YouTube. Yeah. Well, this is crazy. Yeah. Like, what? You know? Yeah. But a lot of people are so systemized, and I'm starting to learn this now, back from the industrial age, that they go about in work. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just they go to work like robots. 100%. It's like, damn, dude, you're kind of like not wasting your day, because I know we got to pay for bills, but then like 10 hours, some people be working like 80 hours a fucking day. Damn. Like, I don't know, maybe how you're going to internalize that. Everyone has different situations. People have families to provide for, and I get it. I can only speak for myself.
And I love what you were saying about not regretting the time with your mother. Yeah. For some peace, I'm sorry to hear that, and rest in peace to your mother.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But the other thing too with that is that I'm just going to say it. I'm glad it happened, because no one deserves to live like that. She was like literally, sorry for the vivid picture, with Alzheimer's. Sometimes you can't go to the bathroom anymore. You just have to I'm just being, giving visuals to people.
It's definitely one of the worst diseases. And
it's crazy.
And I think that's something that hits home for me as well, because being a fighter, you think about things like CTE.
Yeah.
Basically the same thing.
Sure.
You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? Yeah. So like, that's one thing that I'll be passionate about in life is, giving all the money to research that I can when it comes to diseases like that. And and obviously, we both talked about the afterlife, and I'm sure she's living a life that's way better than what she was living on this earth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and to go back to your spiritual thing, that's what's keeping me up too. Is that number one? I'm taking care of my dad. I have an obligation for him.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing too, man. Before we end this, whatever.
Yeah.
Dude. I think like your purpose is everything. It has to be meaningful. You can't just go around saying that shit. You know what I mean? So when we talked about the divine and stuff like that, when I go through like say chemo or something like that, I always know that my mom's like behind my shoulder,
100%.
right? She's like patting me on the head. It'd be like, son, I'm not gonna let you go. It's not your time yet.
100%.
You know what I mean? So that really motivates. And even with God, like say, I know that he's there, and I'm more conscious of it now. Like say in the car, I'll speak to myself and I'll be like, I know you're here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I know
100%.
you're looking over me.
Yeah.
So again, it all comes back in full circle when we say that when you learn to accept, that's what accepting is that leaving it into God's hands or whoever you believe in, right? The divine, whatever, universe, leaving it into his hands. And now I can focus on the things that matter, like this podcast, like taking care of my dad.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing about passion, I know we're kind of sorry, we're drawing this out a little bit. Good. But then with passion, I mentioned it on another podcast where it's like, I think a lot of people, why they don't start this stuff that we're doing, the content creation stuff, is that because they think they have to find something that they like really want to talk about, right? Yeah. And then all of a sudden, the thing is, what I mentioned before is that do something first, and when you get good at it, then you get passionate about it because you got good at it, and it's easy for you to do. Now you're excited to do it because it's so effortless that you could do it, right? It's almost like, but people, I think they're like, they want to find I posted it on my last story where I said perfection is the killer of all dreams. Because people want to act like, it's like, I need to make this perfect. I need to get the camera gear first. Instead of just pressing record on your fucking camera and then posting it on YouTube and talk about whatever you want to talk about. And then eventually your communication, saying like and ums too much and shit like that. You know what I mean? It's going to work itself out because you're going to get feedback from the world and how you watch your videos. You're going to get better, like martial arts. You're going to get better and better. And I was interviewing this one girl or having a conversation with her, and she said it the best. If you show up every day, even against your will, even if you didn't want to get good, you're going to get good anyway because that's just how science works.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? Yeah. If you came in the martial arts gym and then you intended to suck, you wouldn't suck.
No,
you would just get better. It's so weird. That's hilarious. You know what's funny? You like if you show up and you just paid attention, even if you weren't intentional about your training, which you should always be. But then even if you weren't, you're gonna learn anyway.
That's
funny, huh?
That is so funny. I've never really thought about that.
You see what I'm saying? Like doing these videos, even though you're unconscious of like, you think you're just talking to the camera.
I'm
gonna make this suck.
It's actually a lot better now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So for the next video, it's just gonna subconsciously be instilled in you, even though you're not conscious of getting better.
100%.
It's just your voice is gonna change, your language is gonna change. It's just a natural progression of getting better at things.
100%. And I want to ask you this: for all those out there, and then we'll go ahead and close it out out with this. This was such a beautiful talk.
Hey, man,
I love picking Chris's brain. He's such a smart dude, such a hard worker. For all the people out there, I was gonna ask like kind of the financially free question, but since you kind of switched it up and talked about a little bit more how like it's more about like not regretting anything. For all those people who are like, they've been thinking about something for a long time, but they haven't done it and they haven't gone full throttle on it. And if they're on their deathbed, they might look back and be like, I should have did that. What's your advice to those people?
Just start. And I know that seems trite. It seems unoriginal, but that's the basis in life. Just like I think that's why people get into like self-development porn is what I call it, is that it triggers something in their brain. It triggers dopamine in their brain to where they think they're actually doing something by reading just a book and not actually applying it.
Yeah.
You know what you have to do to apply something? Take action.
Yeah, do it.
And it sucks because Jerry mentioned this actually, and it's actually pretty cliche, but it's good to hear time and time again, is that it's easy to do. I mean, it's simple to do, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? You have to get up.
Yeah.
You have to do this. You have to do that. And you don't know if it's going to work. A lot of people, they get caught up in the uncertainty of things because with what we're doing now, we don't know if we're gonna get a brand deal.
Yeah.
We don't even know if like the numbers are gonna go up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so uncertain. And then anything in life, people are scared of uncertainty. It's just an evolutionary psychology thing.
Yeah.
So when you can't see the future, that's when people get scared off. So they go back to their job with guaranteed money. Nassim Taleb, this guy that wrote this Black Swan and Anti-Fragility, said it the best. You know what's the most addicting things in life? It's heroin and a paycheck. Because when they get a paycheck, they feel that they're insecure. But guess what? When COVID happens, you're getting laid off your job, you're spending all your savings. Now what do you have to fall back on?
Right.
Guess who's making it now? Digital age content creators.
Yeah.
Because people had to watch something, and now they're making the fucking dollars off of it. What's uncertain now?
Yeah.
They're millionaires.
Yeah, 100%.
So you just, the thing is that all I know, and I don't know how it's gonna happen for you. I don't know how it's gonna happen for me. All I know, if you stay persistent, which is just meaning that if you don't feel like, it's as simple as saying, if you don't feel like doing something and you do it anyway, and if you do that for a very long time, you'll beat out the rest of the market, and then you're gonna be successful. That's it.
100%.
Like that's like plain bottom line. Be persistent. I can't tell you how you're gonna get it, but if you keep doing it, you will be successful. You're gonna beat out everyone else that quit on themselves.
Wow. Yeah. And I think that's a perfect place to end it.
Yeah.
Being persistent, which is exactly what Chris has done, which is exactly what I strive to do when it comes to this content stuff.
And you're doing it.
You're
doing it.
And you know, I've been.
You're here.
Right, I'm here. We're making content. We've already made a bunch of videos.
We're just to let you guys know, we're like almost 3-4 hours deep in making content.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's commitment. That shows.
Yeah.
Sorry, one more thing. And that's gonna, you have proof of evidence now that you're that guy. Yeah. You just made it your identity because you're here, you showed up for yourself, and you're gonna see, like, you know, when we do get it out to the world on YouTube and stuff like that, you're gonna be like, oh, I really did that. And then you're gonna keep doing it because now you have proof of, that's who you are now. 100%. Right? Like,
I think this is gonna go really far. I'm excited for you guys to see, we both basically just did 2 podcasts.
Pretty much.
I'm really happy that it turned out that way because I wanted to do like a sit down with somebody like this before. My last one was it was a little bit too short. Unfortunately, like half of the video got like deleted. Like I didn't save it. Yeah. So I just made it like a technical.
And listen. It's gonna happen. That's feedback.
Yeah.
Think of it as information. It's like, oh, that won't happen again on the next video.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Exactly,
People get too worked up about, man, fuck, that sucked. I'm not gonna do it again. No, it's feedback for you not to do it again the next time.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I love is that we're gonna learn from each other. We're gonna keep doing this thing, keep producing more instructional videos. We produced a couple of videos we're gonna be posting on YouTube. But yeah, guys, that's going to end it. This is my guy, Chris Sicat, in the building in the Speak Easy gym. I love how like casual this is.
Dude.
I'm gonna call this. I'm gonna call this Just Chatting because it's just the Just Chatting podcast.
Bro, this legit should be like, I know I got the studio thing going on and stuff like that, but that's my shtick.
Yeah.
This should be yours.
Yeah.
Like, you have a great idea here where it's like nice and casual because I've always wanted to do this platform, but then I stuck the other way.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that it's any better because there's a whole studio there.
Yeah.
Dude, doing this stuff is so fucking cool.
I know.
Like, we're just sitting here having a bro
Showing here all
chat.
the bags.
Dude, this is a great platform. Like,
100%.
just for insight, you know, with a lavalier mic.
Yeah.
You don't need much.
Yeah.
We literally turn on this camera and then the people that it's gonna change lives, that's what I do podcasts for. The people it's gonna affect what we just talked about.
Yeah.
And by the way, just to end this, for people that, with the whole cancer thing, yes, I do have, the condition, but I recently got CT scans, which I didn't get into. Just a quick note, it's going really well. I'm beating it out. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah, like the way you see me at the gym, that's the way like I
my opinion.
Yeah.
And this is the pretty much the last thing I'll end on is that you've already beaten it no matter what happens.
I don't think I have anything.
Yeah.
Honestly, I live my life like I don't have anything.
I feel like you've beaten it mentally, and this is something that won't just apply to cancer. Mm-hmm. If you had a traumatic event in your life, something that happened in the past, something that you messed on, a mistake, you can beat it mentally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You do not need to succumb to the past, and you do not need to succumb to your circumstances. You are in control of your mental space, and I think we're gonna end it there. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. I'm Nasir Davis. This is our first official podcast. I'm so happy I did this. I could talk for forever. We're gonna do a part 2 on this.
Absolutely.
We're gonna get more content rolling out. This is Chris. I'll see you guys later. Peace.
Let's go.
Dude, that was so sick.
That's cool.